Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Manchester United agenda. I have actually managed to press the go live button this evening, so enjoy this exciting. All right, gang. Hello, everyone. I've already got the show off to a better start than last week, which is great. And Monday, I saw you dancing again to that salsa
it's that beat,
intro.
The rhythm, the beat. I just love it so much. It's makes you want to move your feet. And I'm looking forward to Saturday night. I'm going out this Saturday night, so I might be playing that as I'm getting ready for my
Where are you going?
It's called a one deck edition. It's a regular thing I go to, but it's a one deck edition, which means
there's ant deck and deck.
Yeah, something like that. Let's get ready to rumble. It's a one deck, which means there's no two turntables. One deck, so you get more appreciation for the tune. You play a tune, you stop, you use the mic, say build it up, chat to the crowd, and then drop another tune. So there's no mixing involved. It's about appreciation for one tune at a time. One deck edition. Put the needle on the record. Big up Father Chalky.
Because are you DJing?
I'm not. No, I'm not DJing this time.
All right, Pat. I was going to make a joke about cage dancing, but I decided not to.
I have nothing to follow on that.
How are you doing, my friend? We haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, not a bother. Excited to be back. Let's get talking about this upcoming game we have.
All right. Well, we should probably see who is in the chat, and we have, as always, Stephanie Griffith saying, "Big up the Man United agenda." Rebel and Stefan tonight. I'm afraid they're not on tonight, and neither is Solo. But hello, Solo. How are you? Are you doing well? And we've got DK Wilson straight out of Utah saying, "Evening, folks. Tough game coming up." Where is he actually from?
I think it's Texas, the state of Texas. I think a bit like.
Are you trying to think of someone from Texas?
No, who's the referee?
Oh, Jeff.
Jeff from the state of Texas as well. DK Wilson's from Texas and Black Bolt is from New York. That's the one.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got Andrew Williams, who is from Wales, I think. And we've got We Deserve Better. And we got Bart, who is from the darkest part of your imagination. It's great to see if Stefan is here, as he's one of the few Man United YouTubers to not have me blocked yet, but never say never. And we got Bilal, who's straight in. He's so annoyed Onana's coming back. Who else have we got here? We got the ref, we got Jeff. Just pop in to say hello and say, "Let's go, you Reds." Score 3-1 United. And we've got my favourite, Mr. B, saying good evening. And DK Wilson is saying that Jeff is from Austin, Texas. Anyone else here? Big T. All right. So Big T is here saying Mourinho incoming. We saw this news just before it started, and I don't think anyone's really that interested in it because, I mean, Pat, do you think there's a chance in hell that Jose Mourinho is going to come in any position to Manchester United?
Any position? No. HR, probably.
Yeah. Amonde, do you see any legs in this story?
No way, Jose.
Brilliant. Look, you've got the same mind as Andrew Williams.
Oh, great.
We'd serve better never in a month for some days.
Sorry.
And
what do you think, Bath time? Because you're the one who brought this up.
Well, personally, I'd quite like to see Jose back in the Premier League, but not at Manchester United, because I think every week he would just call out Poch at Chelsea and Eric Ten Hag at United. I personally wouldn't mind him as an interim manager because I think that he would scare quite a lot of the players, such as Rashford, who he had a go at and things. But I don't think that you should go backwards. Do you know what I mean? It's like going out with the next girlfriend again. I think we should look to the future. And speaking of looking to the future, so Amonde, did you say if you wanted him or not? Completely forgotten.
I said, no way, Jose. I just don't.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what? I've got enough respect for Jose. Not just he's someone that you want to spend have at your dinner table and discuss things. I love listening to him. I love his interviews, and I think he more than a football tactical coach, he's a psychologist as well with players, and that's where he really gets his magic from getting the best out of players and being psychologically able to get one over on rival managers as well. So I think he should have quit early on. Once he'd done the double with Chelsea, he got out of there, created drama, got out, because sometimes, you realise, they're catching up with me here, or they've sussed me out here. So I think he's smart with quitting jobs, getting in and out, and doing something, having impact and things. But now he seems to have fizzled out a bit. What he did at Roma, I expected a bit more, to be honest, because Roma are one of the maybe top 5-6 clubs in Italy, and he didn't do too well over there. But I'd give him enough respect. But I just wouldn't want to see him back. Like you said, no way, he can't go back.
Well, both We Deserve Better and Steph have brought up Newcastle, and of course, Jose's first job in football was Bobby Robson's translator. So there does, and I think like a sort of small town club like Newcastle is probably where Jose would be best. Like real sort of parochial setting and things like that. Drum up that siege mentality. Like I can see Jose going there, but we've also got Andres Arenas, who I haven't seen before. He's saying must-win game tomorrow. Lovely to see you here, Andres. And look, when I get your comment off the screen, I'm really good at my job. We got a show tonight. So my favourite player is back. Some players aren't back. I've done a bit of a dig into Wolves' stats. I have spoken to my friend who has played football at an astoundingly high level, and he's recommended a Wolves player for United to sign. So I'm hoping we can all scout him. We got the solo 11, and then we got score predictions. Pat, what's exciting you about tonight's show?
Ooh, who's not back?
All right, we'll get on to that.
I'm very excited about scouting a transfer target. I'm interested because I think I know you talking about your friend who's played at a high level, and I'm really keen to see who he rates. I've got a guess anyway, but
who's your guess?
I think we were interested in the former Atletico Madrid striker, Mateus Corona. He's very impressive. What I've seen, driving runs and that kind of thing. But I think it's someone else. I think it could be Kilman.
All right. Yeah. Well, we'll find out later. Okay. But first of all, we're gonna quickly go through some stuff from the press conference. If you wouldn't mind, Monday, if you could just highlight some comments for me whilst I read this out.
Yeah, sure.
So first up, we've got a grinning Ten Hag saying he can't wait to talk about the game.
Can I just stop you right there?
Oh, okay.
All right. The reason I put this up, because I watched the press conference today, and then we were talking about Mourinho and other managers as well in the past who are really good at press conferences. And I felt that smile looks a bit forced. And hello, like gritting his teeth. He's under pressure. And to smile like that is a bit OTT, in my opinion. So he's turned up today, and the first slide is saying, I can't wait to talk about the game. So he's thinking, right, let me focus on the game. Let me smile, and let me to the audience and make them feel relaxed and say, look, I'm comfortable, I'm happy, I'm confident. I'm here to talk football. I don't want to talk about anything negative because you know where they were going to go. So that was a really forced, cheesy grin, I felt.
All right. Is this what we're doing? We're doing body language analysis.
It's kind of, body language. But ask Pat what he thinks. Look at that. I want you guys in the comments as well, and you guys, thought bubble. What's he thinking right there?
You could have just gotten a new electric toothbrush or something on there. You wouldn't know.
a new front row.
Do you know?
You
know, right, I'm on day. I'm sure by now you've realised that, despite not showing my face, I'm an extremely vain man. And I've actually looked up the best way of how to manipulate your face in a photograph to look more handsome. And Erik ten Hag is doing everything there except for one thing, which is that when you smile, your eyes kind of squint. And I would agree with you that does seem a little bit forced. because he's got his chin sticking out, like like to make sure that like there's no light underneath the chin. But yeah, but okay, so that's why you have put that one there. The next one. Hi, Eric. There's been a lot of talk about Marcus Rashford the last few days. What is the situation there, and how's his reaction been to it all? This is more body language, isn't it?
Still fucking smiling.
Yeah, but look at the smile.
He's like Lenny in The Simpsons when he got a face job. He's like, I don't know why I'm smiling.
Yeah, I remember that. But look, it's like a gritted teeth. That fake smile has gone to the question's been asked, and this is exactly how it went. With his,
he's doing the squinty eyes like Bad Time said for the photograph, but he squinted too much in the second photograph.
He's overdone it. He's overdone it there.
He's
you need your shoulders back as well.
Because in the second one, you can see if I had a thought bubble there, he'd be saying, "Mofo, that mother, why?" And he has to keep it together. But yeah, that smile soon changed. But I mean, imagine that you come to the press conference, talk about a big game to start with, and that's the first question you get. These journalists are ruthless.
I mean, I'm not a huge believer in like things like body language. There's a guy called Jeffrey Hams, who is the leading practitioner of it at Manchester University, and I'm Jeffrey Hams. Yeah,
he's Italian.
Yeah, he talks with his hands. But what he would say in this situation is that Ten Hag turns away from the question because he doesn't like it, and that his body contracts a little bit as well as closing his eyes. But this is just all absolute nonsense. But I think that this is where we should be going. Half-baked conspiracy theories and pseudoscience is exactly what this channel should be about.
Face change again.
I think that's a much better look for him. That's like Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
But do you notice he's gone from that cheesy, hardcore smile, and then after the first question, look at his face now. It's like, he's vexed. And then he responded, obviously, to that question about Rashford. And we're going to ask Pat as well later about this. But he responded, and he repeated what he said the other day. But over to you, Bath Time, yeah.
Well, we'll just look at the last one. In football, you need discipline, and that is on the pitch, but also off the pitch. There is a line between where every player, every professional knows this, what is required. We have to focus on winning football games, and that matters. And every top professional knows what is required. I mean, waffle, Pat, this?
Yeah, it's just waffle and keep the conversation rolling. That's all that is,
Yeah.
Nothing but it. It's just rolling.
Right. Scratch the surface, guys. Come on.
No, Monday, we've been through this so many times. It's not scratching the surface. That means superficial.
Look, let me just make a point here. He's talking about, because he kept being asked about Rashford, he said case closed, he's not talking about it. But then he talked about discipline. And he said here, you need discipline, and that is on the pitch and also off the pitch. There is a line between every player, every professional knows this. That is what's required. So that's the most you're going to get out of him regarding the case closed and done and dusted, He's just talking about discipline and what he requires from his players.
All right, we've actually had some decent comments here, except for one from Andrew, which I can't show. But Eric Ten Hag looks like he would say, "I am the one who knocks," from Breaking Bad. UK strains just straight in, new teeth, trying to show them off. And Steph is saying, "I thought it was a wind-up with Eith's smile, silent but deadly." I thought it was wind with Eith's smile, silent but deadly. You rarely describe a smile as silent, do you? Got Bath Time. You're doing the best thing you can to make your face look handsome. Don't change your picture. I'm going to take that as a compliment, Big T, but it's also one of the best disses I think I've ever heard. DK Wilson, and his arms are folded like he's really uptight.
Yes, DK.
Emma is saying, it looks like the smile of someone who wants to hit the person sitting opposite them.
Yes, Emma. You see, these are playing along. These guys are playing along with it.
And we deserve better. It's not these fucking clowns.
Yeah, the thought bubble. That's the one. Exactly.
That's ask me again, and I'll knock you out. Which is, do you know what? When you started doing this on Monday, I thought everyone was just going to call us a bunch of charlatans, but I think they really enjoyed that. So, on to things they won't enjoy. Right. My favourite is back. It's Amrabat.
My Little Pony.
My little Shetland pony. He's back from AFCON. He got sent off twice in the same game. Serial winners Egypt have crashed out. But as everyone knows, we love Amrabat on this channel. Look how cute he is. But we don't think he'll play. And we've got these doubts for United. There are 3 players that are definitely out, which is Wan-Bissaka, Mount, and Malacia. And then there's the question mark on Rashford. So, Patrick, we haven't heard your thoughts on Rashford. Talk to me. What's going on?
Right, obviously it's been a couple of days and a lot of press conferences since. So, like, we've all had a chance to reflect, and I haven't been around, so I haven't really got everybody's opinions in the chat, what they think. Myself personally, I've really taken the emotion out of it now at the moment. When it first happened, I seen a lot of people saying, "Get rid of him. He has to go. He needs to go. Get rid of him now." And I'm like, okay, that's a bit. It's a bit too much. All right. How many times have you been? Like, put it this way: if he walks out here tomorrow, he's a 26-year-old striker that's coming into his peak. Where are we going to replace him? What are we going to replace him with? What kind of money do we have? We don't have any money. And who are we going to replace him with? Who's going to come in and when he does come back into form, and he will come back into form, the chap at the moment. Now, be honest now, guys, I am talking about this objectively. I'm not a Manchester United fan, even though I've been Team Rashford for a long time, but I am feeling the hurt from his performances and the way he has been playing. But I'm trying to look at it from the objective of how the club's being run. Like, we are a farce. Anthony, Sancho, Greenwood, Ronaldo, Cavani. It's not the story since 2022, one after another. Are we going to get rid of Marcus Rashford after going out on the lash? No, not really. We should get rid of him for going out to Belfast drinking in the first place. But he was over there with Roshan Williams, I think it was, one of his academy pals. So he has an excuse to be over there. He could have thought of somewhere better to go. But anyways,
I agree.
If you're going to get in trouble with Manchester United and the whole Manchester United fan base, at least go somewhere better than Belfast to get ribbed over. That's my opinion, Marcus.
I've got friends in Belfast. Shout out to Belfast. Pat, I'm just going to come back at you on a few things there, so that you can give the other side of the argument. First of all, you talked about how much money would we get for Rashford. Rashford, with his contract, I think I did the maths the other day. He has about 70 million left on his contract that we have to pay him. I think it's reasonable to expect that we can get a fee bigger than his contract. Secondly, you talked about, like, who else are we going to play, and you're looking at it from a sort of like a rational point of view. Do you not think, to the academy players, it sets a bad standard that we talk about bad apples and things in the club? Do you not think that for the culture, it might actually be, it could even be worth taking a financial hit to remove someone like that from the club?
Absolutely, massively bad for young players in the club. And I'd even go as far as say that I feel the club is in a transition at the moment that could be in a close resemblance to Ferguson coming in his early days, and he had to get rid of the drinking culture, where we have a culture now that is attitude, mentality, everything is wrong with the players to a fact that the culture is as bad as the drinking culture, and the only way to get rid of it is to get rid of the Whitesides and the Paul McGrath of the team, and we can't afford to do that now at Manchester United. And if we do it, we're either going to be all in and accept it, or we're not. But, like, it's like everything else, lads. If he goes now, he has to be given a warning and say, this is your last chance. But because things are going to change at this club.
Okay.
And we're giving you a chance. And that's basically my answer.
All right. Just before we get to you, Monday, and your thoughts on this, I just want to do the comments. We've had a brilliant one from Vincent. saying, "Hi guys, I'm watching on my new TV, which means I can't communicate. How do you do it from the TV?" So if anyone can tell Vincent how to use his television, we'd be eternally grateful. Pat, where did you get the agenda wallpaper? Is it in the merchandise store?
No, it's a printout.
If you message us, Big T, I'll send you whatever you want in terms of slides. You can make your own one. You can do your own show. You don't have to watch. I'll give you all the materials. Right. So Emma is saying Rashford needs to play a game for the under 23s or whatever before he gets in the first team again, in my opinion, which I think is quite good. And Andrew's been quite angry with you, Pat. He says that when you say Rashford will get back into form, Andrew is saying, look, he'll also go straight back out of form.
So I have something on that straight away for that, on Andrew's comment. And it's not directly, it's not directed at Andrew, right? So McGuinness and McClare, his previous coaches, that Marcus Rashford from the age of 14 has struggled with his confidence. And he has not, he's always been, he always has lacked in confidence. And it was generally down to that he wasn't born with the talents of a Ravel Morrison or a Mason Greenwood. These naturally gifted footballers. He's had to work for everything he's got, and I like that as well. Like, I respect that, you know. But I when I heard that about McClare and McGuinness, I kind of went to myself, I'm going to look back on a few dates. I'm going to look back to when he was in form and when he was out of form. So I'm going to look back to the 21-22 season, to the 22-23 season. All right. So back in 22, Mason Greenwood played his last game for Manchester United. Now, this isn't all affecting Cristiano Ronaldo. This is all around the circus of Manchester United, is what I'm trying to get to, okay? So just imagine Marcus Rashford in this team, right, with these players who are his friends, and they're trying to build camaraderie amongst this squad, and they're going to try and build it. January 22, Mason Greenwood, gone. Plays his last game for Manchester United. He's out. Let's just call it, he was put aside, all the court hearings, so on and so on. July 22, Jesse Lingard's gone. Also, another close confidant of Marcus Rashford. Okay. August 22, Cavani goes. Now, before August 22, Cavani had been sitting on the sidelines for a while, and we were led to believe what Ralph Rangnick's opinion of Cavani, he was poisonous to the dressing room, or
of Cavani.
Yeah, Cavani, Martial. Their attitude was poisonous to the dressing room. You need to just look up that article. This is the second time I mentioned that. You need to look that up on Rangnick.
Yeah.
An article from, I believe, The Mirror. Rangnick done the actual interview. And so at the end of August 22, Cavani was gone. We're starting the new 22-23 season. In the year of 21-22, how many goals did Marcus Rashford get? Count them on one hand. All right. 22-23 season. All of the kind of transfers of Cavani, Jesse are gone. The Greenwood thing is settled. Martial probably played another 4 games and got injured for another 4 games. But anyways, we're trying to get it going. Team seems to settle. Doesn't seem to be any hassle in the club for a little while. What happens? Marcus Rashford gets 30 goals in the 22-23 season. Okay. So what feels to me is that with all the hassle that was going on in 21-22, affects the lad, and confidence affects the lad. And when he gets a chance to be playing in confidence in the 22-23 season, everything was going well for Marcus Rashford until, lo and behold, November 22, I forgot to mention Cristiano Ronaldo went, but it didn't affect Marcus playing well. So he then had a good season, and that went all the way till the end of the 22-23 season. 23 season comes about. Jadon Sancho plays his last game for Manchester United. Anthony gets brought into the mix. Mason Greenwood doesn't come back to Manchester United. September 23, he goes off to Gaddafi. January 20.
What's the point you're trying to make?
The point I'm getting at is that the only time Marcus Rashford has ever played well and consistent for Manchester United, when there doesn't seem to be any of this fucking circus around Manchester United and their players, or players wanting to leave, players being kept there that don't want to be there, players going out because of allegations, etc., etc. So what I'm trying to get at is, around him, name the strike force who plays around him consistently in the past 2 years. And I've just mentioned dates there of players that he was supposed to be gelling with, getting used to playing with, and it never consistently had a chance to gel camaraderie as a unit.
So whose fault is this?
This is my point. As much as I blame Marcus Rashford for not being a man and manning up and doing it, I feel that we're never gonna get this consistency in the club with all of our players unless it changes as a whole, as an entirety as the club. And hopefully we should start seeing this now with the new Barrera coming in, and hopefully a sporting director and blah blah blah, every one of them that comes in after. I just feel that it's all right, easy to blame Marcus Rashford, but when the team is a shit show, excuse me language, as well as the circus around the club, it's just as bad. If it's not going well off the pitch, how can it go as well on the pitch? It's not just 11 players on the pitch.
Okay. All right. Amonde, do you think that Pat has a point here when he says when it's not going well on the pitch? Sorry, how can it go well on the pitch if it's not going well off the pitch? And our star striker, most highest paid player, is going on 12-hour benders in Belfast.
No, sorry, Pat. I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I'm with Andrew Williams for once on this one. You had a good point. I didn't know that about McGuinness and all that when he's coming to youths about confidence. I think that's a big play in a player's performance, confidence. And you have to have that. What we're seeing with Rashford is inconsistency. You said he scored 5 goals or 6 goals one season, and then
that was the injured season as well. But still,
okay. But if you look I've looked recently at his goal output. It's not that great. It's very inconsistent. And I don't think you could pin your finger on why that is. Every season is a different reason. I just think what we're seeing now, we need a manager with discipline to get the best out of him and punish him. He needs that punishment. He needs to be shown up. And for him to apologise and come back first time, second time around, remember the incident where he turned up late for training? He seemed to apologise, took his licks, stayed on the bench, and he came back. And this time around, he's made a big boo-boo again with what happened in Belfast, your favourite city. And he's come back again. And he hopefully will see a better Rashford. But I think the whole fan base are disappointed with him because of the performance. He's the highest paid player. He's one of the most experienced players in the club. He's from Manchester. He's all about Man United. He's been given lots of love, and he's not giving it back, we don't feel, as a player. He needs to be performing. Once you reach that level of 30 goals, that's the benchmark that you should be aiming for every season, and or getting close to that at least with goals and assists. And we're not seeing that. It's just like, is he a moody character? I don't know. I think you're pushing the button. If you're saying about his confidence, I think he's a bit moody. It's like you're saying, oh, it depends. It's like fair weather friends. When the weather's nice, he play good. Or when things are going well, he play good. I don't think that's acceptable for professionals.
Okay, well, let me ask
just quickly. I've got a player who plays for our Sunday team. All right, I played it. He said the other day, and I'm going to call it. I'm going to say it now. It's exactly the same thing. Good player, but sometimes doesn't give his all when we're playing. Now I played him. I've checked it out the other day. We played 15 games or something. He started 12 of these games, and he wasn't performing well. So the last game, I dropped him, and he walked off at half time. Said he had to go somewhere, but he was pissed that he was dropped. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. And then he said, I wish you guys luck for the rest of the season because I don't think I'll be coming back. And I'm thinking, okay. And he gave the reason why, because he thinks that other players are playing ahead of him. But it's not the case. So my thing is, no. You're a big man now. I'm not having that. I know you say you've got to treat certain players differently, but I'm at a stage with Ten Hag where everyone has that same consistency. Treat everyone almost the same. Certain players, yeah, you can pat on the back and all that kind of thing. But I think you've got to treat all players with the same level and follow your rules and laws. At the start of the season, say, this is what we want to achieve. These are the rules. This is what we expect from each one of you players. Doesn't matter who you are, top ranked player or the lowest player coming through the club like Mainu, you still all have to abide by these rules. And I think Rashford is a moody player and getting away with stuff. He was out of order for what he did. He needs to come back and represent and turn this around and do his best for that. Otherwise, I think the fans will want him out of the club. And as Barstow was saying, get that money for him and let's move on. Let's move forward. Because I don't think, to be honest, when I look at it, I don't think Rashford's got potential, but I don't think he's reached that potential. And I don't think it's going to happen ever at Man United. It's got to happen elsewhere.
Right, Pat, just before you come back, I do have to go through the comments. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Steph is giving us a like update. Thank you. And also, the creator of our fabulous salsa dancing intro, Subvids, is here talking about Elise, who is probably another show. And here's another of my favourites. It's Ed Barrett with a hilarious profile picture. Ed. Rash is having an early midlife crisis brought on by high wage, a loss of anchorage, being his partner. If he gets help, there's hope, but he needs to want the help. So he's got to understand that his behaviour needs to change.
On the edge.
What?
On the edge, as they say down south.
Okay.
Not northerner.
I'm not. I'm a country boy. When Pat said earlier, you can count how many reasons on your hand. I was thinking, can I? We're deformed and inbred here. All this Rashford heat in the papers. No one is talking about Kyle Walker's antics, smoke and mirrors. I mean, the person that's talking the most about Kyle Walker's antics is Kyle Walker, to be honest. All right, we got Emma K. I don't think selling Rashford would have a negative impact on the youth. It could be, oh no, they got rid of Rashford. I have to step my game up now type reaction. I agree. And Steph is saying PowerPoint sharing sounds suspect. Tell us more, Steph. I find it difficult to get an innuendo out of PowerPoint. And we got Andreas saying Marcus needs to sort out his attitude. A psychologist is needed. So maybe this is something that the new structure can get where, we get a proper psychologist. The last one we had, as everyone knows, was called Sasha Lenz, who had a undergraduate degree from a dustbin in Germany. I am more qualified than he is. Now, Pat, you've got some pushback from me on a Monday, but DK Wilson is with you on this. And Andrew, I think has a good point, to be fair. You're proving my point, Pat. The guy is completely useless unless everything is absolutely perfect for him. Football is not like that. And in my experience, and this is very common across football, I'm sure Monday's come into this before, that sometimes in training sessions, you will give a decision against someone all match, regardless of whether it was a blatant foul or not, to see how they react and see how they handle the pressure. And I get the feeling that Rashford is getting all the decisions going his way, and that when he gets a setback, it's over exaggerated. You see his body language, you see the way he reacts and stuff. I mean, personally, as a United fan, I feel we're breeding a victim mentality in our team with players like Rasmus and Rashford, and I don't like it. Vincent is saying that Lingard's gone to Luton Town for 60k a week. Nice work if you can get it. Question for the panel: does Bruno being a bad captain influence Rashford to play up? I think this is a great question. Amonde, you're shaking your head, but as I've said so many times, I believe players should run a dressing room and the manager shouldn't be involved. We've seen that Bruno was on the scene, Pat, of when Rashford crashed his car. The first person there is Bruno. If you were a club captain, Pat, what would you say to Rashford?
For starters, the first thing I'd say to him is that when you're playing with such bad form, your appearance and body language means everything to the fans. So when you're coming out and playing absolute tripe for 6 months at a time, don't be coming out with an earring in your ear and your hair dyed orange. Keep yourself with your head down and commit to the game. And that is being probably Marcus one of his downfalls at the moment. He just doesn't look committed to the cause. So what I was talking about earlier on was I was saying that he's a confidence player. And I alluded to some things there that I felt might affect his confidence. But that's not an excuse on Marcus' behalf. I'm just trying to allude to the point that this is what his confidence may be like. And it might go up and down. But Marcus Rashford at the moment, he needs to put on the big boy pants now. And he has to prove it to the club. And going around, coming onto the pitch, pretending he's praying with the hairstyle and the earring and all that, it doesn't go well with fans who are paying their hard-earned money week in, week out to see our club play.
Well, we got Vincent saying that he thinks that you're the cause of this, Pat.
Yeah. I would have brought him somewhere better than Belfast anyway.
We'll go through some more comments and then we'll move on. But I think this is a really interesting discussion, and I think it's great that Pat's given another point of view. So remember, Pat is our guest. Like, you can be mean to me on a Monday, but you're not allowed to be mean to other people.
I'm well able for it. Don't worry about that.
I know, but it's just the principle, Pat. Exactly like what Ten Hag is saying. Got principles in this chat. Right. Andrew Williams saying a circus is not an excuse for walking around the park. I disagree with Andrew on most things, but I'm 100% with him on that. But We Deserve Better says, I agree with Pat. These players are human. And he's also followed up saying, I'm not disappointed with him, which I'd love you to go into more detail with. We Deserve Better, because you make a lot of good points, but I think you're off the mark with this. I think that everyone should be disappointed with Rashford, from Kath on reception to the fans. I think he's let us all down with his behaviour. Big T is saying Rashford has been with us for about 19 years. Where is the respect? He should see us as family, and you never poo on your own doorstep. Unforgivable. Amonde, you've always been a pretty forgiving person. What would Rashford have to do for you to to get the trust back?
Change his attitudes, I believe. Obviously, we don't know. We don't speak to him personally, but I'm just judging by his body language, like Pat was saying, judging by his performances. We need to have a bit more consistency. I remember that goal when we lost 3-2 at Highbury. He nuts Partey, ran, drove in, and shot the ball in the bottom corner. And I thought, that sort of thing made me wicked goal, absolutely outrageous. Yes, love that. I want to see more of that from Rashford. I think he's capable of it, but I'm disappointed that we don't see every game I'm watching him. I'm shouting at the screen because I know the potential's there, but he's not meeting it. I know what he can do, but his decision making is poor. He runs into traffic. He doesn't link up so well all the time. I want to see more consistency over 90 minutes, not just over a season. I would just start with the 90 minutes, more consistency, more positivity. People love you, bro. People absolutely love you. We all want to love you. We want to, it's not about we have to learn to love you. We love you full stop because you're a Man United player. And that kind of goal that I just described, what you do, we know what you got in the locker. But because he's not doing that consistently, it's getting frustrating. And there's parts of his game at 26 where I'm thinking, bruv, Kobe Mainoo's got better IQ than you. You need to balance that. All that physicality, athleticism, all that kind of thing. And I think low decision-making, poor IQ, when you get to about 26, 27, it sort of balances up. You start losing a bit of your physicality and you become a complete player, total package, because your wisdom and everything is supposed to rise up to that sort of level. That's where he should be right now. But he's kind of like that still. That's the physicality. You know what I'm saying? That's the wisdom.
Yeah.
More wisdom, bruv. More learn the game and become a legend, a proper legend, like you should be. It's a disappointment. I'm like a disappointed dad right now, seeing him underperform, and I want more from him. And if that was my son, and like you said about the captain should pull him up and say to him, bruv, like Angelo Dundee to Sugar Ray Leonard when he's losing to Thomas Hearns, you're blowing it, son. You're blowing it. And Sugar Ray Leonard, that was the reaction he needed. He came out the next round and knocked out Thomas Hearns in the 13th round. So I think someone needs to give him a kick on the backside, someone he respects, someone who he can say, my gosh, I don't want to let this guy down. And is there someone in the change room like that? I don't know, but something's got to change. So I want to see the best from Rashford. I'm not disrespecting him. It's not a bashing Rashford show. We love him. This is why we're talking about him so much. But we just want to get the best out of him. However that is done, someone's got to do it soon, very soon as well.
But do you not think with all the circus that's going on around Marcus Rashford, with the likes of his mate as in Jadon Sancho not getting in the team, not being played, and then shift out with Dortmund, it's no excuse for Marcus Rashford, but maybe he could be taking it personal and he's gone the wrong way about it, and he's not openly saying that about Erik ten Hag either. Is it because Erik ten Hag just keeps persisting with Anthony because he's the one who wanted him and he wants him to come good, even though he's persistent with him and when he should have been playing Sancho? I'm not sticking up for Rashford, and I'm not bashing Eric Ten Hag either. But could there be elements of this going on within the club? And Marcus Rashford is going about it the wrong way as a 26-year-old. Because at the end of the day, a 26-year-old is still a very young man, mentality-wise, regardless of the amount of money he gets paid. Sorry, in football, no, but as in intelligence. Like, if he's surrounded by other 26-year-olds who have half a brain, probably like himself as well, he could be listening to the wrong people and going about things wrong.
All right. That's a good point. But I mean, like, the standard that, like, male's brain finishes developing about the age of 24. So it's very difficult to change habits after you're 24 compared to beforehand. And, like, one thing that I believe everyone should have learned by around the time they're 16 or 17 is that your social group and the friends you're with have a massive influence on where you are, like, in life. Like, I remember I had a mate who at university was really fat, and he saw me doing all my stuff, and he was like, how can I improve, like, you know, to get a bit fitter? And I had to tell him, you have to change your friends. If you want to make big changes in life, you have to change the people around you that allow you to do these things. And Rashford, his family are massive in his life with his stepbrothers and his brothers and things, but I can't see an argument to say that they're not, like, leading him astray, because he's gone on a 2-day bender in Belfast, and no one's pulled him up on it. So I don't think they're the right people for him. Our youth academy director is a guy called Nicky Cox, who seems like genuinely one of the most lovely men ever. You hear him talking about the young players and the care and things he has for them. You think, great. But apart from Scott McTominay, every player that's come through the youth academy has had a pretty poor attitude that's got in the first team, with Pogba, Rashford, Greenwood, and so on. Can't talk about Mainu or Ghana or Gore or the rest of them, but the ones that make it seem to have a terrible attitude. And I think that the club, maybe the way that Fergie did, should look at trying to change their social circle a little bit and maybe get President Matic back in the dressing room. But lads, I'm going to read the comments and then I'm going to move on. I've really enjoyed this, but we've got a match preview and we've done 40 minutes on Marcus Rashford. So I'm going to start here actually with Andrew Williams. He's saying, I agree that extenuating circumstances, but if you think that everything's going to be perfect from here on, you're deluded. We need people who can still give it all to the club, like Scott McTominay. Maybe people are beginning to understand why I love McTominay so much. They are not professional footballers anymore. They're just celebrities that play football.
Well said.
Now, Monday, Claude Rains. Is that the Invisible Man, or is that the guy that's in Casablanca?
No, I was thinking Claudia Reyna when I was looking at it, first of all. Who's Claude Rains?
I think I think that he is a policeman in Casablanca, but I'm not sure. If you can let us know, Andrew.
Also, there's if you watch a film called Life with Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, there's a character called Ray.
An absolute banger.
Ray and Claude. But yeah, I just don't know. Who is Claude Rains? I'd love to know.
Life, by the way, is one of my favourite films. I absolutely love it.
It's one of my favourite films.
When they steal the plane and then he goes and eats the pie. Absolutely brilliant. Life
brilliant
is a great film.
Don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. When you see that girl, you know, when he gets robbed at cards.
Yeah.
That's what he says. When you see that girl, she's gonna be you'll know who she is. She'll be whistling because I've been knocking out her teeth or something like that. But yeah, funny. Eddie Murphy, hilarious.
Yeah, great film. Okay, so DK Wilson is saying, so true. Looking from the US, the English press began getting snooty with him when he began getting praise for his work with children. I couldn't agree more. I think that, especially with what happened with the penalties in the Euros, I think that Rashford was treated pretty well by the British press, especially when you compare it to a couple of years earlier with Raheem Sterling and Raheem Sterling's tattoos and so on. I think that there was a bit of a change towards players around COVID. Amonde, would you disagree?
I think one thing these players need to understand, you can't change the culture. You just have to overstand it, yeah, to work in football. You got a career in football. There's a culture in football, you know. And you got to understand.
Sorry, you have to build a culture at a club, and we don't have a culture at a club.
No, I'm talking
national culture.
I'm talking about a football culture in whole. So with this thing when Saka, Sancho, and Rashford missed penalties at the Euros, and we're now standing up for racism or taking a knee, as they say, or this kind of thing. People, you can't change the culture. It's going to take years and years. So they need to understand what they're dealing with, and they make the most out of it, which he has done. After that, he's gone and done this thing with school children and everything else. I think that's a PR stunt to understand, to say, all right, I understand the culture. Maybe doing something like this will help me in the long run. And the media cannot disrespect him after that because of, he's got on side with them. But I think he's got a bit too powerful in his mind because of that, because of the praise you get. When you get so much praise, it can make you a bit of a narcissist sometimes, I think.
I would never diss Marcus Rashford because he's been the greatest leader of the opposition for the last 20 years. But I do think that it took away a little bit from his football. And I remember when I began to sort of really question Rashford was in a press conference with Ollie. Ollie had said something along the lines of, I think that Marcus should now concentrate on football. Yeah. And Rashford made him kind of apologise at a press conference. And I thought, I don't like where that's going. But UK Strain's got a crazy thing here saying, I think the captain should have a say in the team transfers and starting lineups. Pat, yeah, what do you think?
No. Yeah. Especially with the Manchester United captain.
And We Deserve Better is saying true. The right-wing media have never forgiven a black working class man showing up the establishment. I think, Muhammad Ali springs to mind, to be honest. But fair point. I balance out everything in person. I would try and understand this is not his usual character. He is human. I've got to disagree. We Deserve Better. Not about him being a human, but his birthday party in Deansgate after the derby, like going out, all these things. I think that there's a consistent pattern with Rashford, and so that would be part of his usual character. All right, but do you know what? Andrew, just to get back to Cloud Rains, is saying both Casablanca, the actor that played the Invisible Man, and also he is in Casablanca. Oh, you're
right about that.
Yeah. Ed Barrett is saying that Americans appreciate the celebrity aspect more than anything. Speaking of Americans, here's my friend Mo saying, Big T, first off, we love crap players. The only thing that happened when he was feeding the children in Manchester is he met former President Obama and everyone here loved him for it. Right, lads. I've really enjoyed that discussion and we could go for hours, but we got a match preview to do. So if I haven't read your comments, I'm really sorry. I've tried to get all of them in. I've tried to give everyone a fair shot. And I've just checked. We are live. All right.
Imagine that.
I want to talk about Wolves. First of all, they've got 3 key players out with Juan, Traore, and João Gomez suspended. Okay. And I've also got some stats for you that I think are quite interesting. The first one, Pat, is that in their last 5 games at home, they've won 4 and drew 1. And previous to that, they'd only won 5. So this for the entire season, they only won 5 of their 10 home games. So like they basically lost. Like, they didn't win for a very long time at home. They in fact drew 3 and lost 2 with 16 goals scored and 14 conceded. But they have scored in every home game this season. So tell me what this means to you, Pat. Is this just stats being nonsense, or is there something we can glean from this?
Probably a week or 2 ago, statistically, it would have been a good time for Wolves to play Manchester United. But since He-Chan's gone off in the AFCON, he was one of the most...
It's in the Asia Cup.
It's the Asian Cup, apologies. That's the fourth laugh we've had all night now. I'm glad I brought it to the table.
I know the African players lie about their age, but there's no way they could lie about
that. Come on, we all just have another laugh for a couple of minutes. Sorry, back to where I was. Yeah, He-Chan was a shining light, and he was bringing on the likes of the centre forward Kuna, and he was playing well with He-Chan. But since He-Chan is gone, I just feel like they haven't had that. They haven't been as good. Like they still have some nice players like the likes of Neto and stuff like that. But He-Chan was the difference in the team, and it would be a better time for Manchester United to play them. As in, they're not a weak side defence-wise, but for Wolves to be scoring goals against Manchester United, it would have been better for He-Chan.
Yeah, Ghana's finest.
So funny.
I don't even know what it's called. Is it the Asia Cup? Right. Anyway, right.
I think it was all that talk of the podium and the AFCON that threw me off.
All right. Well, look, we got a man saluting you here, Pat. Amonde. I know that you know who all these men are. Talk to me about them.
First of all, you got former Atletico striker, forward Cunha, is Brazilian. We were actually interested in him as well. Really impressed with him. He runs from deep. He's very quick. Seen him gas certain defenders in the league this season. Good ball control, gets to the box, and he's playing. He seems to be really happy at Wolves. And I'm very, very impressed with how he's sort of settled in the UK, playing in the Premiership as well. He's very suited for this league, and I like him a lot. Powerful guy. In the middle there, you got Sarabia. He's a Spanish international. He was at PSG, by the way. That was a good signing for them. Left-footed midfielder, attacking midfielder, can play left, right, central. Very talented. He used to play in Seville. I think was he at Sevilla at one point as well? Or no, it wasn't. It was some. He played in La Liga. I can't remember which club for, but always highly rated, always highly touted. And he's another player that you think, well, he's top class, and Wolves have got some good players in the attacking areas, you know. And next to him is Neto, the guy who's just come back from a long-term injury. Before the injury, he was on fire, smoking everybody.
Good player.
Didn't really, and he was in everyone's fantasy team because they felt, okay, he'd be coming back this season strong. He's taken his time to get back from this injury. I don't know how well he is, but he's coming back into form this season. Really talented guy. He can play from the right, from the left, same thing again. And he's a really tricky guy with both feet. He can do it all. And he's really highly touted as well. So there's three guys. You talk about our front three. This front three here, if it is their front three, because I know they play three at the back, how they mix up, but they're very, very talented and a real threat. If you don't forget, when we played at Old Trafford, they were sort of dominating the game and running from deep. Actually, before we actually fixed up our midfield, they were actually sort of taking the mickey out of us. But I think those three, even without the Ghanaian Chinese man, I think they are a real threat. And we need, you're right by calling them danger men bath time. I think they're very talented, and we need to be mindful of these guys.
Sorry, Mr. B is texting me, which is what all that noise going off is, saying he really likes this slide. I am a massive fan of Pedro Neto. I really like him, and I think I had a guy called Podence that I liked as well. Yeah. Now, Andrew has brought up this, saying Ait Nouri, one of them.
Left
right.
back.
Yeah, like sort of kind of a left wing back. Like, I think he's a great player, but there's a reason why I've selected these guys as the danger men, which, Pat, is because Cunha, Neto, Lawrence of Sarabia, and Hwang, 33% of the shots come from them, and 20 of Wolves' 33 goals have come from those four players, one of which is missing. So I think that the key to shutting down Wolves is to make sure that we get hold of these players, because the majority of their goals and their shot creation chances are coming from them. How are we going to do this, boys?
Yeah, I think, well, judging by the first game, we need to tighten up the midfield and stop them from running through us, I believe. So make sure we're nice and compact. This single pivot guy, I don't think that should work, especially playing away from home. We should sort of make sure they don't play between the lines, and then we're not chasing them. We don't want to be in situations where we're chasing these guys, because you won't catch them. And stop getting in one-on-one situations with these guys as well, because they could just open you up with ease.
All right. Well, we got a couple of comments that I just want to bring up. Big T's asking me, "Are you worried Cunha will flourish in our gaping midfield?" Yes and no. The reason that I say no is that we've started inverting Dalot a lot this season, which we weren't doing at the same stage. And I know a lot of people are quite Dalot skeptical. I would give him player of the season so far, despite some high-profile but despite some high-profile errors, I'm a huge fan of Dalot. Like, what do you think, Pat?
I like Dalot too, right? But in a game like this against such an intense team in Wolves, I would prefer Aaron Wan-Bissaka if he wasn't injured. Okay, my only one gripe about Dalot is he just seems to switch off at times, and either forget the position that he's in, or he's end up in the fucking wrong position, and he just gets caught out. Other than that, for a fella who's doing his utmost to be progressive up the field, you can't knock him for that. And his defensive work is good. It's just at times, I don't know whether it's him personally or he just needs somebody shouting at him for 90 minutes to keep him on tune. That's my only thing. It's only fine details with Dalot.
Yeah, I agree. Bart is talking about will Bayanda keep his spot? We're getting to the solo 11. Hopefully, the lads will be able to stay on for another 15 minutes more than we planned, as we got a bit derailed this in Belfast. Matty Bassett is saying he would take Neto at United. I'd definitely have him in our squad. And, for God's sake, right. I'm not going to lie, Big T. You would say, why is the player on the right not got an orange background like the other two? I spent an extra 5 minutes trying to find an orange background so that it matched, but I couldn't find it, and I remember thinking no one will care. But now I know.
Second
now
half
I know that you do. And the other thing is that what you haven't noticed is I think he's in a different kit to the rest because he doesn't have the same badge sponsor or collar. But do you know what? Right, one day I might do. Do you know what? On Friday we're doing the eye test, but it's going to be a shorter one. I'll put something in about observation for you lot that might be fun. So Mo is saying, who do you play in the centre of the pitch to limit the freedom Wolves had match week 1 in the midfield? It's got to be a right or a left back for me. Andrew, he hates Dalot, and he said he's garbage defensively. And Ed Barrett thinks our midfield is balanced now with Kobe and Casemiro, which brings me, I think, to my next slide. No, it doesn't. My next slide is a player that my friend who's played. Yeah, you're right.
I was right.
Yeah, you're right. My friend has played to a very high level, which I've tried to get on the show. He won't come on. He has a career in professional football, and apparently we will damage that. He has told me that Max Kilman, he was a centre-back himself, is an incredibly impressive defender that is destined to at least play at Champions League level. So I put up some stats here, which I think don't look too impressive. The one that stands out is successful take-ons because he's part of the back three. And like he moves forward. If you remember Fabian Schär, when we played Newcastle, he constantly was going past our first line of pressure, but good at blocks, good at clearances, good at aerials. Amonde, I would love your opinions on him, but he's just a player that I think that everyone should watch out for in this match so we can have a discussion about him further down the line. But Amonde, tell me about Max Kilman and what you think.
First of all, I think I should take a bow because you did ask me which Wolves player.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Which Wolves player would this guy predicted would be a good signing for us, and I did say Kilman, and that was used to be my street name, Amondi Kilman. That's what I do, you know. But I think he's a great player. He's come on the scene. I don't know where he's come from, but he's been mighty impressive for a centre back. And for centre backs, you don't want to be too heavy. He looks lean, strong, tall, and good on the ball as well. Wins his headers. Just does everything that you're supposed to do as a centre back. And they got rid of Connor Cody, knowing this guy would fill the boots with ease, and they've done brilliantly. Connor Cody, it was an England international, remember, and I think he should be getting caps very soon, based on his performances. So I no doubt will be watching him tomorrow. So like I say, I don't see him get bun for pace, run down. I don't see him lose many headers. I see him physically strong as well, very imposing, and on the ball as well. He's very correct with what he does. I don't see many mistakes from him. I'm a centre-back. I always watched him. I've always been impressed with him. And I think, kill man, that's what he does. He goes out there, kill man, has strikers in his pocket, and we will be watching him on watch along with Mr. B tomorrow.
Is there a watch on tomorrow? Yeah.
What was the name of the previous manager of Wolves again? De Santos, what was it? What was his name?
Yeah, Nuno de Santos.
Yeah, so De Santos, he used to play 5 at the back, but he also changed his formation. I don't know whether I think it was 4 at the back. But Kilman used to be the one who used to always get sacrificed every time we changed his formation at the back every couple of weeks for whatever team he was playing. So he's obviously getting more of a chance to play now consistently under the new manager, and he's getting better. So it's good to see.
All right. Well, we got a couple of comments here. We've got the first one is Bart saying, is Kilman better than Branthwaite? Branthwaite is part of one of the best defences in the league. Andrew says there's a big price difference. And then he says, I wouldn't take a bow for being on the same wavelength as bath time. Treat yourself, Andrew. Is the Luton player had a hat trick worth a look?
Well, a big centre forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And Andrew is saying he's slow, only good in the air. But like we can all see.
Slow. Andrew, come on, bro.
All right, I had something about like the midfield and stuff, but I think we're going to skip by it. This is just like the roles that you expect from the midfield, and it was about Kobe Mainu. But after an hour, it's the time you've all been waiting for.
Drum roll.
It is.
Let's go.
It's a little mouse going up the stairs. It's Amrabat. Clop, clop, clop. He's leaving. All right. Now, so this is what Solo's got. First thing I reckon that we should be thinking about is the goalkeeper. Partner Monday, talk to me.
All I'm going to say is no problem with me. I don't mind him coming back. I know he's getting ripped left, right, and centre, but he can take it. He can handle it. He's got a big, thick skin.
Oh yeah, I'll be of the same opinion. We don't have much options on it.
Okay, so all right, we've got Shaw, Martinez, Varane, and Delo. I thought that Varane was pretty poor against Newport. There's no problems there from anyone?
Nope.
Nope.
All right. Bruno, Kobe, and Casemiro. Looking pretty slim there, Cass.
Oh, did you see that image of him? I don't know if it's been edited. There's a photo of him today. It looks like he's got a rather large stomach, but who knows? That's a running joke with him, isn't it? But he still can do 90 minutes. Let's see. He needs to play himself back into form, and I think he's got that sort of character as well, where he knows he needs to deliver for the fans as well. I can trust in him at the moment. I think even though he makes mistakes, sometimes he goes for tackles, gets red cards. I can't yet accuse him of being uncommitted for the cause. I like Casemiro. I'm glad he's back in.
I think the problem is sometimes he's too committed, which is why he gets red cards, which is why he crosses his pivot in a cup final leading to the first goal. My big issue here, Pat, right, is that when you look at all of these players, Bruno, Kobe, and Casemiro, I feel that Kobe is going to have to do a role here that doesn't get the best out of him, where he's going to be running channels, not really getting on the ball too much, and he's going to be there to either apply a finish or a pass in the final third. And I personally don't think it's the best role for him. But do you think that this is a balanced midfield? Is this the one you'd go for?
Well, it's our best midfield. Casemiro, I think he's on the same trajectory that he was there like a season or two ago when he came in and he wasn't quite fit, but he just seems like he's getting a little bit fitter and fitter. And in fairness, them jerseys are that tight, you could have a good steak sandwich and it would look like your stomach is sticking out now, in fairness, you know. But no, he is getting better. And like, sorry, just go back to Varane for a bit. Varane, as sloppy as he was during that, he looked like he was carrying a slight knock or something, and he wasn't giving it his all, running and stuff like that. Well, that's what I'm hoping anyway. Other than that, he was just being pure lazy. But Casemiro and Kobe, I couldn't be happier. And Bruno in front, it gives him that bit of freedom to go off and be a bit more adventurous that he likes to be.
Well, I suppose he only gets that freedom if those two are playing in a double pivot, and on the ball we would lack a lot if Kobe is in the double pivot and not making the channel runs. But we've had some comments. Rich is saying he's only staying if there is a good conspiracy theory. We've got to get more conspiracy theories into the show. I think that's how you grow the channel. Andrew Williams saying Varane was poor for sure. Big T is now calling out Solo about not playing McTominay. Vincent's on one. He's saying, wow, if you want to get rid of that little mouse, put some Baileys out. Mouse and rats hate Baileys. So that's how you get rid of them. Vincent, never go into pest control. You can't turn up with a bottle of Baileys and go, lads, I've sorted it. And speaking of pest control, Garnacho, Rashford, Rasmus, is that line going to be a pest to Wolves? And is Rashford going to start on Monday?
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I think based on what we saw in the press conference, he said something key. Remember, there's rumours about Rashford not fancying the young man from the Danish striker. He was mentioned it a couple of times in the press conference that he's building up a good relationship with Rashford now. That's from the manager himself. So I think Rashford will start after everything that's happened. He's got to. It's a big game. We need him. And I think when you're talking about, this is what I feel is going to happen, why it's so important. 3 at the back, 3 centre-backs. That means they're going to have the Portuguese wing-back going up and down, Nuru down the left as well. There will be spaces to stretch those 3 centre-backs across the width of the pitch. And I think this game is perfect for Rashford if you're going to play him in. He needs to be fed beautifully. And he needs to time his runs as well. So
he's got to hold the width, surely.
Yeah, because there will be enough space for him. So I do think he's going to be key for us tomorrow. I can't think of anyone else I would say would be more valuable or more key if he's on form, because with what he can do with that system we're coming against. 3 centre-backs and Rashford with all that space. Play him in, bro. He's going to cause mayhem.
Yeah, but Amanda, when you're playing against 3 centre-backs, the key is, the reason why the formation has gone out of modern football is that you have to get their wing-backs pinned back, because that means that they have limited threat on the transition.
But sorry. Yeah, I was going to say, with Rashford, he sort of plays up. He's not going to drop back.
Yeah, so but that means he has to hold the width.
Yeah, and make his runs. Make that he loves that run from left, cutting in. Yeah, and cutting in. And I think with the 3 centre backs, with the width of was the width of 80 yards or something, 80 meters, 80 yards for width of the pitch. 3 centre backs cannot contain that. And I think if we're hitting them on transitions and playing Rashford in early, or maybe long balls with Casemiro, whatever, I think we can get a lot of opportunities, and Rashford will be able to have a field day rather than a back 4 necessarily, where there'd be 2 lines like that. I think Rashford would be really effective tomorrow.
I've got to disagree, because the way that, if that is the team for tomorrow, we will be attacking down the left-hand side, right? Like Bruno will be slightly more left. Kobe will be the one that are running the channels, because you can't, like, of all those 3 players, who's going to run the channels? It's not going to be Bruno. It's certainly not going to be Casemiro. It has to be Kobe Mainoo.
Yeah.
So we're going to be attacking on the left, and it's key that Rashford holds the width. If you remember the Villa game where they played that high line, Rashford in the second half played much deeper. He held the width and he hit switch passes to Garnacho. I would expect something similar. And Rashford, I'd expect that Rashford is far more likely to assist in this game than he is to score, because he's not going to be attacking the back post. He's going to be the one delivering to the back post for me. But this is the beauty of football. I'm going to be wrong, and we can find out tomorrow night. And then we've got a live post reaction with Dora, I hope.
Oh, yes.
All right. Now, the last thing that I have for you this evening, if I put it on stage, is score predictions. And I want more detailed score predictions, and from the comments as well. I want goal scorers, I want red cards, and based off what we saw at Newport, I don't think anyone was happy with the substitutions. I want you to tell me who's coming on for whom and how that's going to change the game. So, Pat, I'm going to start with you whilst I check these comments.
Goal scorers.
We'll start with the score.
Score. Okay, I'm hoping that we win 2-1. And the first goal scorer, I'm hoping is going to be Casemiro from the edge of the box. And the second one will be Højlund. And it's going to be because Rashford's going to set it up. And that's only because I'm taking 1% of Rashford's wages. Have to get that in there.
Yeah, I didn't highlight that, but Andrew telling everyone that you're on the take. Amande, what have you got for me?
Well, as you know, I think we like out of our 10 wins this season, 9 of them being by a single goal. So we don't score lots of goals, and we should like caught on to that with our score predictions. I'd have to go 1-0, typical 1-0 away from home. It'd be great, but I think they have scored a lot of goals, Wolves, and they do scare me because they're a very good side. I have to give them enough respect. I thought they'd be relegation bound, but they've turned it around. Got a very, as you showed with the 3 players there. So if we can contain them, I think we can get a goal, and that goal scorer will, I think, come from like a cutback, like we've seen recently. So maybe, and I'm going to say it again, I think Mainu or Casemiro could be stepping up. I agree with you, Pat, to come in and score a second, like a goal from a cutback or deflection or something, and bang it in the back of the net. Regarding substitutions, I think it's key. But McTominay's definitely going to have to come on at some point, shore the game up. I think he does that really well. He's got the physicality, he will run. You make great point, half-time, about the running the channels. If that's not working out for us, he's someone who could definitely come on the pitch. And you've also, I don't know if is Eriksen back, I'm not sure, but he's someone who can dictate the game. And if you're talking about defense, I don't like to change defense too much. Unless there's injuries or anything like that, I don't think you should change defense or there's a goalkeeper at all. So I just think McTominay and maybe
Maguire?
No. I don't think Maguire should come on unless we're holding that like last 5 minutes. We want to put an extra defender on. But Tominay's the only player I can really think of. Say, yeah, that's a sure shot that he's definitely going to come on as a sub.
Amad Diallo?
No, I just can't see it. One thing, you're talking about sure players coming on. Definitely McTominay. I'd like to see Diallo, mind you. But
He won't even be in the squad, I wouldn't have thought. It's transfer deadline day tomorrow, and he's one of the players likely to move. All right, well, Monday, you've also ignored one of the stats that I put up, which is that Wolves have not failed to score at home all season.
Yeah.
Does that play into your thinking at all, or are we the team to finally stop this electric attack?
Well, look what we've done against Liverpool. We got a 0-0 with them. You know, we can, when we're on our game, we can do the job. And I think coming off another win, I know it wasn't, the best of sides we were playing. I think we just got to start getting well drilled into being organised, and we got our defence back, haven't we? With Martinez and Varane back. I know you said Varane didn't play too well the other day, but we got a strong defence. No one complained about solo 11 for once when it came to defence. So I think we got enough there to give ourselves a clean sheet. And we know Wolves could probably climb above us if we lose. We know we've got to go there and grind out a result. It's massive tomorrow. Tune in, guys.
All right, gang. Should we look at some comments?
Yeah.
All right. Bart is a serious fan, and he has a serious point, which it's an 11 that interests him, but he doesn't see where the goals come from. Rashford not having his best season. Bruno doesn't score that much anymore. Højlund needs chances. Anthony, no comment. He's probably saying that he's the least successful right winger since Liz Truss. Bit of politics for you there. Andrew Williams. Yeah, she's a right wing politician.
That's a good one.
I've got a feeling Kobe is being kept back for West Ham. So I'm going to speculate that Andrew is saying that maybe McTominay comes in. Now, Ed Barrett is saying, I think Heath has a true pivot. Kobe and Casemiro alternating depending on the circumstances to who is the furthest forward as his standard. I don't disagree at all, Ed, but one of the things I hate most in life is entropy, which is like sort of like disorganization, basically. And one issue I have with United is that because we expect so much movement from our players, it gets lost and it gets slowed down and things. And I'd much prefer us to just have a player whose job is to be the pivot and go from there. Now, Bart is saying 1-1 or 2-0 Wolves, 1 red card to a United player. Andrew, United to leave, but Wolves to come back and win 2-1. Hoyland for United net. Boo, Andrew. Boo.
Boo.
Boo, Swansea fans. You don't get this on other channels. UK Strange is saying that Chelsea travelled to Anfield 4-1 for a reason. I don't know the score. I'm assuming that's 4 to Liverpool and 1 to Chelsea. Like, let us know. And then, look, it's Dale. We haven't seen Dale for a while. It's Dale Griffiths. I'll bet anyone Rashford plays the best he's played all season tomorrow to stop the crowd criticising him.
That's because he's watching tonight.
Yeah.
I'd be really disappointed if that's the case. Play like you mean it, like the bedsheet said. Jeff, 3-1 United, because we never keep a clean sheet. Bruno Garnacho, Hoyland. Any subs we make will be horrific, and we will be squeaky bum till the end. Okay. Big T's got Wolves 3, United 1. But boo you, boo. McTominay on for Rashford for a consolation goal. Mr. B, 2-1 is the best we can hope for. Big up, Mr. B. Emma wants at least 3 goals, even if we lose 4-3. And UK Strange is going 4-2 United. Dale, 3-1. Rasmus, Bruno and Garnacho. Andrew is saying we play Sunday. I've got a feeling we could make a couple of surprise changes. This is something that I fear. Casemiro will get a red card. And I think Liverpool won. And Bradley, their right back, I have to agree, looks like a really good player. So, gentlemen, we've gone 15 minutes over our allotted time, but Double A has just popped in, saying 2-1. Martinez score our first goal. I think that's a good point. Martinez is going to be very interesting to see if he makes us play better.
To make up for what happened last week, Bartha.
Yes, for anyone watching last week, we always say we do this show for all you guys here, and we wouldn't do it if you weren't here. But that's essentially what I did last week, where I forgot to press the live button.
Good one. Oh boy!
But right, it's time for thank yous. So as always, the most important guest, the 4th guest, is the chat, and we're so pleased that you come and spend your time with us. You can talk to us on social media, like you can look. I don't think we have ever banned anyone. So as long as you behave yourselves, like you can do what you want, and it's a real privilege that you spend your time with us. We're incredibly proud, and we hope that we've done a good show for you tonight. And part of that great show was the housewife's favourite and my favourite, Pat the Lawman Law.
AKA Rashford Fan Club.
Yeah.
AKA Agenda Bedsheets.
Yeah. So it's great to have you back, Pat, and you'll be on look, even Andrew's. Look at Andrew. He's had a couple of drinks. Great stream. Sorry for the abuse, Pat. I respect your opinion.
That's what it's all about, Andy.
And look, I think it's brilliant having Pat on because he looks at things from a different perspective to us, and he gives us things to think about. And you'll hear every Wednesday now, Pat. So it's brilliant to have you back. Do you have a statement or a rousing speech to give us about why Belfast is a shithole?
No, the only good part about it is the motorway on the way back to the south. That's the best part of it. Belfast isn't so bad, but if you're gonna get caught and in trouble with the club, there's better places to go. We could have went anywhere further afield, but look, Marcus Rashford, everybody else in the club, there's going to be big changes, attitude, football, the whole lot. So watch this space in the next 6 months. And hopefully Marcus Rashford probably got a serious talking to him. He ups his game because that was the lowest he's let us down now in a while. And he can't do it again. But guys, thanks for having me back, and I love being back here on a Wednesday. I look forward to every Wednesday though.
Big up, Pat.
I look forward to talking to a Monday. A Monday talk to me. Thank you so much for coming on.
Honestly, I love the show. Love every day with the agenda, and like I said, all the agenda-ites in the comments. Respect you guys. We love all your comments. Love reading out, and hopefully one day, like Pat, because Pat, we used to be in the comments, and Pat wanted to join us, and since then he become part and parcel of the agenda. So if any of you guys want to come on and join us, you've got the quiz, you've got the Friday night takeaway, and you can become a member as well. So there you go. But what you can't do is become a Korean playing in the African nation. That really tickled me today. It's great. And by the way, bath time, enough respect to you, all the hard work you do behind the scenes. People don't realize how much work bath time does behind the scenes. And it's been a pleasure. I know your anniversary's coming up soon, being on the channel. But
what are you getting me?
I don't know what to get for the man that has
everything.
I don't know.
Maybe a win at Wolves.
Maybe some shin pads.
I'll tell you what, I need a new hip. But actually, Amonde's made a really good point about how, I obviously do absolutely fantastic work, and we're all so proud of my work. But I did also, come from the comments. So did Pat. So if any of you and we know you all, you're all family to us, basically. If any of you want to come on a show, you don't need a microphone.
DK Watson's on it, man. Flipping funny. That's the present you want.
Yeah, I want to check them phony.
Sorry.
But if any of you want to come on, I'll probably be doing an eye test on Friday. I know DK Wilson as well is enjoying tactics and things like that. Just send a message to our Twitter account or whatever, and you can come on. I know the takeaway is meant to be for members only, but I mean, to be honest, at this stage, just ask, and I'm sure you can come on. But it's always a delight to spend time with all of you. But unfortunately, that time has come to an end, and we're still live. Don't worry. So it's a good night from me.
It's a good night from me.
Me too. Night, guys.